Not that much reading.
No. Everybody ready? Any comments or anything?
So my overall question, I think for all of it is, how is this different than the committee that's already in place? The building committee.
Well, there's a school building committee, but the school building is not the responsible committee. So this would just be it's a different committee. The school building committee is for buildings, for building a building or renovating the building. And then the land that accompanies that building. And we're not doing
Does
it.
this supersede that committee or is this parallel to that committee?
Well, this is only a committee for the
The field.
field.
Okay.
And
So
then the school building committee is for the alternative
Can you
school right now.
reverse back up a little bit what you said about the land regarding the building?
Mhm.
What did you just say?
That, here, I can pass out,
I don't need any state statutes.
Okay.
I've read them
okay,
front to back to front.
the school building committee is for building a building or renovating a building. And for the land therefore is what the statute says. So for the land that's part of that build or part of that renovation.
But it says land improvement or improvements of the land the building is on. When you look at the field card, this high school encompasses 14 acres. So the field, the tennis courts, the parking lots, the baseball field is all part of this complex. So I'm not understanding how we're breaking it down as to, are you talking the physical land just surrounding the high school 100 feet out? Because it's all one piece.
But we're
of
not
property.
renovating any of the high school.
We're not, but we're doing land improvements. We're
But it's
improving
not,
land.
it
Part of
doesn't
the
have anything
field.
to do
Yes,
with the
it
land.
does,
improvement.
according to the
Not
the
according to
state
the state
statute.
statute.
Yes, if you go to look at improvements of land or improvements of land the building is on. When the high
Hmm.
school was built, and Marty, you know, they encompassed that whole project with a tennis court, football field,
Mhm.
baseball field, softball fields.
Because the high school is being built.
So the statute, what am I looking at? 10-282 explains that the school building project is used for construction, extension, replacement, renovation, or major alteration of a building to be used for school purposes, including the equipping and furnishing of construction, purchase, extension, replacement, renovation, major alteration, improvement of land.
What are you looking at?
Statute
282.
10-282,
And you're looking at the
Number 3.
definitions?
Yep.
Yes,
number 3.
right.
So it includes the land. So that's what I'm not understanding, because the school building committee takes care of that right now, right?
The school building committee is for anything that's part of a building or renovation,
Including the land.
Yeah.
right? This is not
Are you
part
shutting that
of,
off or turn that
I'm
on?
turning it on. This is part of the, this is a separate thing than a renovation of a building.
So is the Board of Ed on board with us, this building committee, or not on board with us at this point? Because I was
We-
under the impression when I got the letter to put somebody on from zoning and
Mhm.
The
and
Board of Ed-
finance and
the Board of
everybody
Ed-
else.
The Board of Ed made 2 motions the other night and both motions failed. We're not on board with this totally.
Okay, I don't have enough time to listen to your.
I'm sorry.
meetings.
No, I'm just
No
telling
no
you, you
disrespect.
can certainly ask the superintendent. He was right.
So you're not on, okay, so you don't agree with this committee at all? Is that what you're saying?
I'm not saying I don't agree with it. We just need a lot of clarification because the problem is if you have a school building committee, then we also have a $2 million bond package that Senator Heather Summers put in for us in January. If we don't have a school building committee, and we don't know if we're getting anything or nothing, if we get anything, we won't be able to accept that money.
Why
Yes, you
can't we?
will.
Why can't we?
No,
We're
Heather
for the
said no, and I
senior
had a
center.
meeting with, it's because in the bond, it says the money is being come through the Department of Education,
Mhm.
right in the bond.
Well, that's not, but it doesn't have to come through the Department of Education to a school building committee.
It has to. I had a meeting
How was it
today
applied?
with a friend who happens to be an attorney for schools also, and she goes, that's really dangerous not to do it that way. You could lose money.
Well, you gotta talk to the town's attorney and
We
the board
have
of ed's
attorney.
attorney,
Well,
not,
we
not,
have-
not, not some your attorney you're talking to.
She's
We
an
have an
education
opinion.
attorney,
Who
but-
cares? But.
Well,
you know,
I'm just
they
telling you.
Represent the town or the,
And I understand, and our attorney is working on it.
We have an opinion from the town attorney.
And what's the town attorney
That,
say?
and the town
It's not-
attorney states that it is a community, it's a building committee separate from the school building committee.
who's our town attorney?
Met with through Heller and Sage.
Yeah.
So based on what, I'm still not understanding the difference.
The other situation is with the school building committee, this had to go to 2 public hearings.
Mhm.
Before it would have been approved to go to town meeting.
Yeah.
And to go to referendum. It did not go to 2
Yeah.
public hearings.
There were 2 public hearings for it.
Mm-mm.
No, well,
No.
The
for
school
this.
board, the school building committee?
For the alternative school. There were 2 public hearings.
I don't think there were 2 hearings for this.
I thought I went to 2 of them.
I went to referendum, though, didn't
Yeah, I went to
Yeah.
referendum.
Yeah.
No, not the alternative school, because we're paying that out of our ARPA.
Oh, no, I meant the
Yeah,
committee we're on. We're not, are we on a alternative committee?
No, we're on the community build or community multi-purpose field. It did go to referendum.
I thought I went to 2 of those meetings. All
Am I
right.
allowed to ask a question?
No.
Um,
Sorry.
So. So with the bond that Heather put in, if it has to go through the Board of Ed to a school building committee, then that means we wouldn't be able to apply it for this,
According
if we
to
were
my,
to get
to
it.
my meeting with Heather and Sean and the superintendent of schools.
Well, we need to have an attorney's opinion on that.
And
So
we're working on
at
it.
this point, this is a community building committee. We go forward or we don't go forward, and we need to keep moving on this project.
So why wouldn't the current committee continue with it?
Because it is not a building.
But, well,
It's
I mean,
not a
I think we
building.
already covered, I mean, it's, the statute doesn't say it has to be a physical building.
It has to be land associated with a building that's being built or being renovated.
So it just, this says improvements of land
That are therefore, if there's a word therefore in there.
thereon.
Well, on mine, it says therefore.
Like school.
Is this a moot point because the Board of Ed already signed the contract and we're out of the loop, or
No.
that's the thought
The
my
first
process?
selectman
school-
signed the contract.
Oh, you did?
Yeah.
Okay,
Mhm.
And the school building committee has taken it up to this point, right?
The ad
No.
hoc committee did.
Not a
It
school
was a
building
separate
committee,
committee.
no,
Okay.
to my knowledge. Yeah. From my point of view, I don't understand why the school building, why this Board of Ed is so dead set on having a school. I don't understand. Do they think we're gonna like stonewall this project or something, or I don't
You
get.
can listen to the tape the other night online.
Well, I
You
I
can't
can
tell us
explain
verbally?
I
that.
know.
Well, I'm not
Well,
gonna repeat a 2-hour meeting where this took
well, I'm
place
sure this
for
was 2 hours
30
of it.
to 45 minutes of it. Dane, I appreciate some respect. Okay, I'm just.
You know
trying to-
what, Mary Beth? I have listened to 2 Board of Ed
Mhm.
meetings, okay? I would appreciate some respect also,
You can
and I
attend our
had,
meeting
there's no public forum. I
because
would
it's a
not have been
special
able to
meeting,
talk.
just like this is. a
We have special
meeting.
meetings too
No, you're
that have
not
public
supposed to
forum.
put. public-
Yes, you can.
No, you
If-
can't.
The public forum is related to what is on the agenda.
Board of Ed just felt they wanted a lot more clarification from our attorney who is working on it. However, we are not the only school he services and he's with many
Wonderful.
things going on. And we did try to put up 2 motions. The motion was to, I had the authority, once we received the opinion from our attorney, to appoint Marty Osga, but I had board members who failed it. I put it up again after more discussion and it failed again. So at this point, I can't move something forward. And then we don't have a board meeting until the 28th of the month.
Well, my concern is, and we were just talking honestly, I want to know if I'm parallel to a Board of Ed, or we running it, or we're just figureheads, because I don't want to waste my time if I'm a figurehead running parallel, because I'm sure the Board of Ed and their committees can handle what they have to handle. if we're gonna be in charge, then we're gonna be in charge. So that's, I just wanna know, I think
It's a
this
town
meeting is
project.
premature if you guys haven't worked out who's gonna be in charge.
We have worked it out. It is a town project.
Okay.
We have an
Fair
opinion
enough.
from our attorney. It's a town
That's
project
fine.
and it does not run through the school.
Okay,
Or the school building committee. It
Okay.
runs through a separate committee.
then I'm happy to be here.
So do we have some discussion and possible action on the charge for this bill, this committee?
I still have a question about the funding. So in this statute, the application or grant application to apply for state grant and aid, which I think is what it says in here, right? And Heather's granted aid, it has to be a school building project.
What are you reading?
This is the statute under 10-282, number 11. So the grant and aid would have to be for a school building project. It can't be for a town building project. So would that void this?
I have no concept of that at this point in time, but this is a town project.
So
So
this. so
Maybe
we
she
can't
needs
use
to
this?
put that application in differently because this is a town bonded project.
So does that mean we can't get state
Maybe,
money?
I don't know. We'd have to talk to Heather. Maybe she needs to put that document in differently. She requested from me, because we have also applied for money for the water tower.
Mhm.
One of the discussions that she had was the water tower would more than likely be the one thing to get funded because it's for safety reasons. We need that water tower for fire suppression.
Mhm.
So we have water tower bond in. She had requested from me documentation on what the costs were for that bond. For the water tower.
I thought we already voted on that years ago.
We did, but the things have changed, so we're getting a little off topic on something else here, but. So let's stay on discussion and possible action on establishing charge of the community multipurpose field. Do we want to table this till our next meeting? Do you want to? And we can't even really go on and endorse a clerk of the works unless we probably talk about this.
Yeah, I just want to be sure that we're not going to lose potential money. First of all, or if a change needs to be made to that, then that's done and that's not going to hold anything up. How long does it take usually for this to go through and to get those funds?
So we wouldn't even.
Here's my opinion. I don't have an opinion one way or the other. I don't care if it's run by the school or the town. I don't know, I don't understand the animosity between the two, but I don't think we should take marching orders from the state, because I hate to say it, but I've been involved in town politics since basically 2014, and they've been promising us the moon on the stick,
Mhm.
and we've gotten pennies. And so I don't think we should change our marching orders for a bond that, in my opinion, has a very small chance of we're ever seeing any money. So I mean, yeah, it sounds great, but we've been promised grants and bonds forever and we've gotten nothing. So
I think we're missing some of the point. Forget the bonds. We don't have a signed contract that's executed that doesn't have stuff that's crossed out, number one. We don't even have agreement whether the Board of Ed is gonna sue us. And we start going down a path and start making another committee here. And because I haven't got information from their attorney, I know you're saying it's 100%. But I don't like being in the middle. I just,
that's how I feel too.
if I'm gonna do it, I'm gonna do it, and I'll do my best to do it, and I'm very good at what I do. But I just don't like. People are mad enough at me 99% of the time, so I don't wanna be in the middle of any more stuff that I don't need to be in the middle. That's
So,
my
I
total
understand that.
opinion, sitting here in the middle,
I guess at this point.
if
on
that
the-
makes any sense.
On the 20th,
With
they're
you,
going out
with
to
you.
the field and they're starting to take the field out.
yeah.
I think if we are not decided, we're going to, and we don't have.
How
this
can you be taking the
contract,
field out with this is, we
Well,
haven't
it's on-
determined a clerk of the works, unless say the Board of Ed's already determined a clerk of the works.
They are not in,
There
the
is,
ones that can determine.
Has the
clerk
Board of
the
Ed determined a clerk of the works?
No.
is there a
For this
clerk of the
project?
works?
Yes,
Sean, can the superintendent speak to that?
you got to talk to boss.
We have not, no,
No.
we have one for another project.
We have one for another project, but we did weigh in and bless it one night.
As a
possibly,
recommendation.
As a recommendation,
Has he been hired or no?
not for this.
Well, he
He's been
can't for this
hired
if
for the
he's
old
not,
school.
Right.
that he's been.
So they're working without so you're starting to work without a clerk of works and you're starting to work without,
We haven't started anything.
okay.
It will
Well,
start Monday and Chris Hulk sent an email regarding that. And he
where's
is
that?
now
I
on
don't see that.
vacation.
If we're,
Well, we didn't include that email, but they were starting on Monday.
Who's Chris Hall?
who's,
Chris Hulk is what is he, the designer of the, and
Filter.
The filter, yeah.
all right, so the first question I have is, does this fall under Davis Bacon wages first? Or just, is there federal funding involved in this project, which falls under Davis Bacon wages, or did it stay with the original numbers? That's, if you want to start talking turkey, we gotta talk turkey.
right now the only funding is the $3.8 million that was
It
bonded.
doesn't matter. If it falls under federal funding, they gotta change the wage structure. It's gotta fall on Davis Bacon. It's over $100,000. You know the rules.
They're on the state bid list, so they know
Yeah, they're. in the
what
same
they're doing.
business, yeah.
They know they.
Yeah, but part of those exclusions in that contract that you put out there was it didn't include federal Davis Bacon wages.
I made them take that off, Martin.
Okay, so it doesn't, so right now, this is inclusive, this, we don't have a signed contract, but this AAI contract is for the full amount, including the wages, with no Davis Bacon wages involved. So we're not so what happens? You get that federal funding?
Well, I told them it has to be prevailing wage job.
Oh, it is prevailing wage.
I made them take that.
Said that number go up or that number stay the
No,
same?
it stayed the same.
Okay. I'm fine then. I'm still not comfortable being in the middle though.
Me either.
I'm really good, whichever side you want me on, I'm really good, but I can't be in the middle.
His
Not in the
opinion,
middle.
his opinion was given to the school. I did not give it. I don't have it here. I can see if I can
But
pull
you
one
guys
up.
have the attorney's opinion that we've
I
received
didn't
so
bring it
far.
up.
Okay. And what information does the Board of Ed's attorney need to make an opinion?
The superintendent's been speaking to him.
So what happens if they're opposite opinions? Who do we go with? I don't,
You certainly can't start work Monday if you got opposite opinions,
right?
straight up.
So,
Well, yeah, I mean,
I'm just being realistic.
yeah, no,
Yeah, I'm
and
with
I think, yeah, we just need the statute to be interpreted legally as to whether.
But that's a
if the
potential
land
of a
includes-
2 or 3 month delay. By the time, or, well, I don't know how fast your attorneys
that's an issue.
talk back and forth, maybe a
Yeah,
month.
And there shouldn't, we don't want to delay it. I mean, we want to do,
The superintendent.
Wanna do the right thing.
He had hoped to get to it today, but he had an emergency.
I can't have a meeting tomorrow on St. Patrick's Day though, any other day but that.
No, we're not.
Just give me a heads up on that, guys.
Where will you be? Martin?
Not here. I have my own bus. You're more than welcome, I'll come pick you up, but I won't be here,
Well, the meeting on the bus.
no. Can we
I don't know.
resolve this and have a meeting Monday morning or I mean, I don't want to be. We're gonna make decisions and it doesn't make any sense to me.
yeah, and I agree. I think we first need the fully executed contract to make sure that
Thank you.
there are no changes and things.
You didn't get a fully executed contract from Chris. No. I don't see it in my email, so we must never have received
Oh.
the signed copy back from him.
I just texted Andrew Dijak. He's gonna get back to us tomorrow on it because
On the
Chris is on
contract?
vacation.
Okay,
So I didn't know you didn't have that, so.
do you have
And
one?
this is the
I-
attorney.
No, of course. not.
Yeah.
I didn't
Yeah, I don't-
sign it. That's-
I just
I'm
honor
sure.
it.
This is
Yeah,
the
I-
attorney.
Andrew, he's
This is the
going
town
to
attorney,
contact
is
us
that what you
tomorrow.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm trying to look every possible way I can to try to find it, but I
And this guy says straight up, project involving the school building committee must include the school building.
And the statute says land.
but it
this
says
guy's-
land, connected to the building.
This guy,
Which it is, it's connected to
You
the
were-
building though, right?
I think if you were doing a high school project and you were also doing the field at the time of the high school project, then it's fine.
Mhm,
But this is separate,
right,
if I'm understanding what you're saying correctly.
that's right.
this guy says it's, this land is owned. by
I
the
don't care
town.
either way what
Me
happens,
either.
but I think I don't know. I just want to see the project move forward. That's why I'm on this committee. And if we just could do that, that'd be
That'd
great.
be
If
great,
not,
that'd be great.
then
And I
we'll go
just,
our separate
Well,
ways.
I just want to be sure it's done correctly.
Dan, how fast can you resolve the Board of Ed and your stuff together? Can we have a meeting Monday or Tuesday or something like that, or right now you're saying emphatically, this is going forward? But if that be the case, the billing, you sign this for the billing committee on the contract, correct?
It is a town project, it's funded by the town,
Right.
so it is.
And then
signed
you
by
don't
the
have a
town.
contract, the original one with all the stuff not crossed out that
You
you
know, he
signed?
was not, we asked Chris about that, and I said, is this what you sign, or what you want me to sign, or do you,
Chris, who, Chris?
Chris Hulk is the designer
Oh, the designer.
on the project with Fieldsher. When we were getting ready to sign that, I asked if he would give us an updated comment or contract without all the lines, and he said, this is what we
This
signed.
right here.
From what I understand, we
Because
have,
this is look like work product, you know, where you cross it out and then people send back the red stuff on the
I
bottom and they cross
understand.
it back and
I
forth.
understand.
I
That's
mean,
why I asked him.
I've never signed an AA contract with stuff crossed out on it, so. So that, maybe I'm just. Because on these omits, you should be initialing them, everybody should be initialing. If you're gonna
I
do it
wouldn't
this
even think
way,
they would be on there.
well, they should.
So I mean, I've seen contracts where it shows the changes that have been made up to during negotiation, up to the point of contract execution, and sometimes they are like appended to the clean version, the latest clean version. I have seen it done that way. And what you sign is the clean version, and this is just basically a documentation of the changes made up to that point. I've seen it done that way.
do we know what time they're coming on Monday by chance?
The Monday's more of a mobilization, if I may. They're talking about
Okay,
just
thank you.
mobilizing more so on Monday.
Okay,
Putting it there and stuff, and I think actual doing things, I think it was Tuesday, and I put it in mind.
And the way that the notice reads, it's the week of March 20th, because even though they say Tuesday it might with snow, it might be Thursday.
okay.
I do the same thing. We can.
Make that stuff so, I know, like,
So
So where are we
I
going?
mean, we have an option if this committee wants to meet on Monday and do a special meeting Monday morning, once we get the executed contract. If we don't have an executed contract from them, I don't think they're gonna be able to come and
I
start
think we gotta start from the
digging up the
beginning,
field.
which is an executed contract.
Yeah, I mean, nothing can legally take place until we have the fully executed contract, right?
If we're the committee.
Well,
well, get us out of the weeds.
If we're the committee, you're right, but if they're the committee, they can do whatever they want.
Well, then the
well, the
contract would
contract's
need
signed
to
by
be
James, though.
Okay,
redone.
Okay.
So we'd have to start all over
okay,
again and.
okay.
So. Yeah, and either way, it would be signed by you, right?
No,
No,
The contract.
no. It'd be signed by the school board of ed, maybe, board of ed, yeah.
no, their committee.
So so if it's a building project committee, school building project committee, the contract. would have been signed by
I
the
know
school
you're at
building
large,
committee?
Mary Beth, you're at large, you're not representing Board of Ed.
Right.
Is there a problem from the Board of Ed's point of view? To have this committee run it, or is the general thought process is you guys wanna run it? What's the, well, I didn't listen to your minutes, I apologize, I know this, I've 2.5 hours of boring. stuff. I'm just giving you a heads up on that, and it's gonna be really tough to listen to 45 minutes of it tonight when I go home.
No, you
So-
don't have to. It's always been past practice here, that anything that has to do with the school, the gas line project, the roof, the renovations to the middle school and the new addition and the elementary building have always been the school building committee.
Okay,
Our concern is if, and we just want clarification. If our attorney comes back and says this is how it's gonna be, then we'll move forward.
okay,
We're open to that. Our concern is the next project, what's gonna happen? Because we'll be starting to lose control of our projects. When all of our past practice, and the gas line project was town bonded,
But it was
We bonded.
connected to a building.
but then you can say water and power is connected from the field to the building.
But that's not a primary part of the project. The water and
We
the,
have to have water and power down there.
right, but
We have
that's
to
not,
have the,
All right, how quick can you guys resolve this, so we can have a meeting?
I can't pull a meeting by Monday morning
Alright.
with my board. Unfortunately, I can't.
Uh,
You're talking it's Thursday at 6.
So we could do chairman, secretary, there's no treasurer, but but it could be a waste of our time today, right? If you
You
guys
can
battle
go
it.
forward, but you can make a motion incorporating pending still committee. That's fine. I'm just trying to give some options here.
yeah, I just don't think we can do that. I think we have an attorney's opinion. The contract is signed, half of it's signed, it's half executed. I think we need to move forward. That's my opinion. We've got to get moving.
Yeah,
I don't
we
want
are
to hold
selectmen.
this up.
Move forward.
So Dana,
I
your
don't-
reasoning is simply you read the statute and that's what it says, so that's.
That's what it is. And we didn't follow the school building committee. We didn't take it to 2 public hearings. The school building committee was not involved from the start to get it through the process. And the state statute supports the fact that it's not a school building committee project. It's not connected to a building and the building and the renovation of a building.
So any other projects that happen at the school would not fall under a school building committee?
They would if they are part of a building, absolutely.
So like the playground that, where wasn't there a playground? that was
We have a
just-
new playground going
So
in.
would that fall under this as well?
Well,
Would
that's
we be
not
doing that?
funding that's coming through the town,
Okay, all
so.
right, gotcha. Okay,
Mhm.
the only town funded non-building projects would
All
go.
right, so let's look at the list and see what we can do tonight, and then on this. Offers is I'm nowhere near running, so somebody else has to figure that out.
Well, let's not move on. Let's go back to discussion of
to-
possible
yeah.
action on establishing charge of the community multipurpose field committee. Do we have a motion to establish the charge for the community multipurpose field?
Well, here's the problem here is, essentially it's only me, you and Martin who can vote according to this.
Boy,
Where does it say that?
The
No, it's not.
ex officio members without vote. Individual appointees as liaisons.
3 members of the community at
Oh, I
large.
see. I thought, okay, I'm sorry. I misread that.
And as
And then
selected-
it's, yeah, and then it's a period.
So individual,
So-
so if we appointed anyone else beyond that. Liaisons or whatever.
Right, because the liaisons would be the,
Eric or
Sean,
Sean.
Eric,
Okay,
Glenn.
understood. Got it.
And as selectmen, you can't vote, right?
No, I'm one of the
Well, she's
members
one
of the
members,
committee.
yeah.
But as a selectman, wouldn't you automatically be ex officio, non-voting?
No. Not for the committee. There's a selectman on the school building committee also.
Non-voting, though, right?
Mm-mm.
I thought the selectmen can't vote.
I never heard of that. That's what I know.
I usually don't vote unless it's the time,
Well, and the chair of this
Well, if the
committee,
chair-
that's why I usually keep my mouth shut most of the time.
so again, do we have a motion to approve the charge for the community multipurpose field?
What's the
I'm
ramification?
Afraid to make a motion, because I know I feel like I'm stuck in the middle too.
Michelle.
I know, but I do.
So
I
they
just
heard
wanna
that what we were
make
doing
everybody
was gonna
happy
be.
and get this
You're not gonna
over.
make everybody happy.
No.
No,
I
heard-
shouldn't be here then. I
Martin, you're
guess,
gonna be
and-
I'm gonna be happy because I'm fighting with everybody. Other than that, I like to fight, but other than that. So,
I'll do whatever Martin does.
I'll make the motion.
okay,
And do we have a second?
so what is the
I was
motion?
gonna say, what, can we repeat what the motion is?
The motion is to approve the charge for the community multipurpose field. Is that your motion,
Mhm.
Michelle? Okay.
And should we put in a caveat in there, assuming it doesn't get override by the lawyers? Between the Board of Ed and the town?
Well, I would think
I
at
would-
that point, we would just dissolve anyway.
That's
right?
right.
That's fine,
Yes,
fair enough.
I
I'll
don't
second
think
the
we-
motion.
Okay. Any further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
3.
Nate,
And
Thanks.
since I'm the acting chair, I guess at this point I wouldn't vote, so I would say motion carries. B, discussion of possible action on election of a chair and secretary for the committee. And nominations for a chair.
I'd like to nominate Kathy Wasselick as chair of the committee.
Do we have a second?
I'll second it.
Do we have any other nominations? Hearing none. All in favor?
Aye.
Raise your hands again, I'm sorry. Okay,
You can vote for yourself.
unanimous. Thanks.
You're welcome. back.
Okay, sorry, I'm going to take notes here, so. All right. Discussion and possible action on, well, can we get a motion to switch the order of C and D? So that the next item we would talk about is discussion of possible action on the appointment of a clerk of the works.
Can
Well,
we
no,
go
we have a
back to
secretary.
being?
Oh, you need secretary
on
first.
B?
Oh, I'm sorry. Thank you. Okay, discussion of possible action on the election of a secretary for the committee.
I'll nominate Michelle D'Amico.
I'll second it. You better
Thank
be
you
able to
all,
take
thank
minutes.
you. I better bring my pencil sharpener with me next time.
Any other nominations? Hearing none, all in favor? Aye. Oh, I'm not voting, sorry. So we had,
What we want?
Secretary.
Okay,
okay. All right. All right, congratulations you two. Kathy, I'll actually turn it over to you.
Oh, yay. Thank you. All right, so I guess we'll move on to C, discussion possible action on groundbreaking ceremony for field. I guess right now we
I think
can't
that's
really discuss
premature
that. We're
at
gonna
this
have to
point.
table that.
Mhm.
So motion to table.
I make a motion table.
Second.
Mhm, thank you.
Mhm.
You gotta vote. Yeah.
Oh, yeah, that's right. All in favor?
Aye.
Nays?
Now you can vote though, if you're not chairman. Yeah.
I'll say aye. So-
Discussion possible action on appointment of clerk of the works.
I think we're premature on that.
Yeah. At this point,
May I comment
Well,
on that?
yeah.
I would say that it's really important for us to have a clerk of the works for
Yeah.
any projects that we're going forth on.
Actually, I think
And
that's
it's
in the
weird
statute.
doing something as early as Monday and they're bringing things onto the.
You don't even
field.
have a signed contract in front of us. How can we judge the job of the clerk of the works when we don't have a signed contract in front of us?
We could do it upon execution of a contract.
And it may be executed, we just don't have we can't find it.
Right.
It may be done, we just don't have it. I know, yeah,
Part of the
I know.
preamble to this meeting was to have a
Mhm,
complete package of paperwork that's complete and ready so we can look at it and
mhm,
make the educated opinions about decisions we're making.
mhm.
So I don't feel comfortable in doing that. You guys can vote in it. I'm just letting you know.
I would again reiterate that we have had issues with projects that have not had clerks of the works.
I'm not saying we don't have to
Yeah,
have
no,
one.
I think we should definitely, I think every project should have something,
I'm-
have one,
That's, you're missing it.
but
I think with this project needs a clerk of the work.
definitely.
I don't think I can vote on a clerk of the works without
Mhm.
knowing how to judge the clerk of the works. We don't have a signed contract and we don't know a lot of stuff. That's my contention.
I agree,
At what point would we vote on clerk of the works then?
executed contract.
Actually, the contract.
So we could do it Monday morning?
Whatever,
Whenever we get it.
whatever everybody can agree on, but
Do we have someone in mind for that? Do we have anyone that would be? I mean, how long, it's not gonna take long to find.
and of course, this is
somebody, right?
part, is this on top of, was the clerk of the works including in this contract or the clerk of the works on top of this? Or is it a percentage of, is it a percentage of the gross of the sales or how we determine the clerk of the works is salary?
Eric, would you want to answer
You guys are dealing with the wrong guy, by the way.
It would be above and beyond.
No, this is-
that? It's, but
this
it
is-
would be, could be
that's what we
included
need.
in the contingencies?
Yeah.
Yes.
So it's not included in the current,
In the
Current
current
cost.
contract, no.
It's on top of the contract. Is it based on? Based on a gross number or is it based on a percentage of the project costs or what, how we compensating the gentleman?
I think it'd be on an hourly
or ladies,
basis.
or lady, I'm sorry, person.
I think it would be on an hourly basis.
And you know what that number is?
Not yet, no.
Right, so I can't vote on that then anyway.
We have somebody that is currently working on the alternative school. He is somebody that I have spoken to prior to this meeting.
Has he
to
done
see
a job this size? Does he have we need to see some
West
credentials.
Greenlee. He does have experience with this. He
Mhm.
does not have experience with turf. He has experience with doing fields. He's done other projects like this where he's done high school fields.
Okay. Has anyone talked to him? Would he be interested in this? Or
He
would
is
we-
interested.
Oh, okay. Do we know anyone else just in case?
If
Like, I don't want that
if we
holding
do
anything
this,
up.
we'd have to put out an RFP. So
Oh, my.
I'm
Is he,
assuming
is he,
too.
well, so is he DAS or what is he under the number, certain number, or how is?
Yeah,
how
he'd
he hired?
only be doing so many hours. He'd probably be doing, I'm assuming, $5,000 to $7,500 worth of work. It's a short-term project. It's very short.
That's true.
What's our criteria for bidding? Is that was 5,000?
7,500.
So is it, oh, there's a coincidence, okay.
So would we have to go out to RFP if it's below the bid threshold?
No, if they're saying
So
75
it's-
before they got the bid, that's it
Oh, yeah.
falls on the criteria.
So we wouldn't have to do an RFP.
Martin, you want to be a quicker?
No. I couldn't handle
I know,
between
would
these
you
two.
do it? Would you do it? Could it be somebody on the committee or it has to? be
No,
that
so you
are-
have somebody needs
Someone
That's
neutral
a
and
pretty-
has
Superintendent.
and
experience.
experience and you ultimately want him to save you money.
Yeah, your next official member. you
Yeah.
can speak.
I don't know when
Go
I
ahead.
can speak, because I did.
Go ahead.
No,
Things
you're-
I want to say, so
Yeah.
first of all, West Greenleaf has worked on multiple buildings in the following districts, school buildings and fields. In Clinton, in Stonington, and in Groton. He was a school facilities director for 40+ years. He is on this project, the alt school project. The other thing is Field Turf is on a state bid list. They have an impeccable reputation. We met with them, the first, Dana was present and Eric was present. In the region that they supervised, there were 40 projects last year. 37 of them came in right at budget and 3 actually came under budget. I do not want to be preachy because I am here as an agent of the Board of Education, but the people voted on this. And one of the reasons the Board of Ed, the Board of Finance, the ad hoc committee, and all committees got behind this is we were trying to secure the best possible rates and timing for this project. And it is a community multi-purpose field. The Board of Education does, as has been said at this table, respectfully just has some questions that they want answered. But that being said, I think it's incumbent upon us to not hold this project up. The taxpayers have voted. I would argue that that supersedes any other procedural steps. It did go through the selectmen, it did go through the Board of Finance, and it did go through the Board of Ed. That being stated, I would urge everybody to work together. There is a request out to meet the Board of Ed, to meet with the selectmen, to work through this respectfully. But there were reasons why the steps were taken the way they were. It was to not impact the taxpayers, to do this in a timely fashion, and to do this in a way so that we could have the fields ready for the summer, for the children, for the parents, for the alumni, and for all of Griswold to enjoy, hopefully in early August, because it's only a 4-month project. And that's my soapbox speech, so I apologize.
Thank you.
And is Wes Greenleaf the guy you're talking about?
Yes,
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
yes, he was in here yesterday getting keys for the alternative school and we touched base briefly about. the
So we're kind of out of loop though on some of this. It takes us a little while to get caught up,
Sure,
at least me.
of course,
yeah.
I'm a little slower than everybody.
There's
Yes.
a website too, I apologize. There's a website that we're updating. It's the letter that went out to the community about the beginning of this project. And Mr. McKinney, we did say the week of the 20th because we don't know. And we are committed to updating everybody respectfully.
West Greenleaf's charges, and I don't know if this would be different for a field, but from what I understand, it's $410 a day and $205 for a half day.
$200.
$205 for a half day.
That's cheap.
So I don't know necessarily how much he would be there. Because as John said, Field Turf is very skilled at doing this, but it would be beneficial to us to have somebody that would be checking up on that and reporting back to us.
Mhm. Yeah, I don't think there's any disagreement that there should be a clerk of the works.
Is there a way that we could,
Correct me if I'm wrong, I'm sorry to jump back,
Go ahead.
but this was something, Chairman Grizzlack, that the Board of Finance was also
Yes,
encouraging.
yes.
yes,
Yeah, we have to. It's a non-starter if we don't have one. You agree with that, Mark? Yeah.
Well, my issue is, I mean, I don't have a problem with the project. I don't have a problem with Clerk of Works apparently, because it sounds a good number. I just, we're in a committee where we don't have the contract to begin with. And I just feel I'm being pushed to do stuff that's
Prematurely.
prematurely
Mhm.
before all the Ts are crossed and the Is are dotted. That's my consensus. That's all.
could we tentatively appoint a clerk of the works
What's tentative?
with provision of the executed contract to all of you? And provision of a write-up or a resume from him. And
Well, here's the deal. If we let the cat out of the bag, this is just my thought again, and I will shut up after this. Okay, my thought if we get everything done, if the train is moving, and at that point, we're just watching the train move. We don't know what the parameters are to begin with. I trust everybody that Mr. Wes Greenleaf is a good guy. I have no reason to believe that. I just thought the first meeting was a kumbaya meeting. We looked at the contract, we could read it, we could see his his credentials, sign off. Start Monday, but I'm only one vote, so. I'm gonna vote and you guys can figure it out. I just don't want to, I feel I'm being railroaded. Quickly. That's all.
Yeah, we have a dilemma because if they're supposed to start work next week and we don't have anything in place, then I mean, what's going on there, right?
Mhm. But if the contract's executed, that's in place.
So the contract is in place, so it doesn't really
So
matter
does
what
that
we do.
stop things from happening with the
No.
executed right,
Doesn't matter what we do.
right,
Right.
that's kind of what I'm,
Can we hire the clerk of work for 2 weeks? With the condition that we have to renew them in 2 weeks?
I don't see why not.
And I'll let you get started, but then you gotta have the Board of Ed stuff straightened out and new stuff, because I'm not gonna sit here on a committee if the Board of Ed's gonna take it back over.
The
Is
problem is,
that
Mark,
fair enough, or is that unreasonable?
I mean, the Board of Ed still needs to be involved in this.
Oh, no, I
Right,
didn't
I
say that.
mean, not taking it, I mean, we wouldn't be.
Well, they want it back as their billing committee.
As-
That's the whole purpose, the whole
Don't
purpose of this whole.
Stand in front of the voters of Griswold, because this project gets backed up. And it costs people more money
right.
to say that we held it up.
Right.
Well, that's
Exactly.
that's up to you two to work out. That's up to the Board of Ed and the Board of Selectmen to work out,
Yeah,
not this committee here.
I understand.
This should have been worked out before we walked in here today. Or before we started this
But
committee.
it looks like the train's in the station. We gotta make a decision now because, yeah.
we could certainly offer him a 2 or 3 week contract, couldn't we?
I don't see why not. Right? But the problem is,
what would
I'm
be in
just
that,
not comfortable.
what would be in that contract? What would be in that, included in that contract for 2 to 3 weeks?
for him to be clerk of the works.
But what does that entail?
You can't have
What does that mean? What are we
But here's the thing.
expected to do?
Here's the thing that I don't want people to get confused on. Clerk of the works. If we have one or we don't is completely irrelevant to the fact that there's a contract and that they're starting work.
Mhm.
Clerk of the works is for our. peace
Yeah,
of
we're right,
mind.
yeah.
But it doesn't stop the it's not like in 2 weeks, clerk of the works contracts of the project stops.
Right, and so what I'm thinking is.
I guess
it
with
can
hindsight,
still
if
move
they,
Forward, and we can still have a clerk of the works. start
Kathy,
a
I
week
think,
or two later.
if we're both agreeing, I'm gonna rescind something. If we both agree with Wes Greenleaf, okay, whether the Board of Ed takes it back over, they'll still maintain Wes Greenleaf. So I think, but it's who Wes Greenleaf answers to is the issue
Yeah,
now,
exactly,
whether
yeah,
it's to this committee or it's to that committee.
Right.
That's the issue.
Mhm.
So I think I'm clearing my head a little bit in the sense that, I think West Greenlee will run coherently through. But who is West Greenlee working for?
Mhm.
This committee or the Board of Ed?
If you look at the charge, he reports back to the committee and it reports to the Board of the Selectmen and Board of Finance. You know, we could always. Again, this charge can be amended as necessary.
Mary
The
Beth,
Board
what's
of
your
Ed
thought?
takes that back over and our committee gets dissolved, he'll answer to the Board of Ed.
Oh, you're gonna be drowned here? Is that what
So
you're doing?
doesn't
Mhm.
really matter, right?
They never do it.
I mean, to me, if
Yeah, if the
everybody
Board of Ed takes it
agrees-
over, all.
I would say, my thought process now, the more I'm thinking about it, is if we both agree, this committee and the Board of Ed, the Board of the Selectmen, I mean, the superintendent agrees of the person. The only issue is who does West Greenlee work for? Does he work for this committee? And then, or does he work for the Board of Ed? So if the motion that we make, at this point, he's got to work for us. Okay, and if that changes, then he's got to start working for them and this committee dissolves.
Here's the thing, more I think about it, we do have a big issue on our hands because if this committee isn't relevant or have the jurisdiction to do this,
It's
then
another
doesn't this
signed
make this
contract.
contract completely?
Void, right.
So then we have
Board
to
of Ed.
restart, get a brand new contract with the Board of
Why would it
Ed.
make it void?
Because the
Because
first.
Signed
because-
It's from-
yeah, but-
it's from
yeah,
the
but
town.
It won't be signed by the town, it'll be signed by the Board of Ed. Dana represents the town, so she signed it for selectmen. But if it's a Board of Ed. building
Project,
committee,
everything has to start all
And the
over.
Board
again.
of Ed would have to sign this, like they signed.
Why don't we have a
Mhm.
lawyer in here? for Christ's sake?
We have a legal opinion.
That's,
I just
I mean,
gave it
that's,
to you.
that is the thing, we have this, he lays it out. But so I don't know
Let
what,
me read it again. All right, I don't know.
he says right here, projects involving the school building committee must include a school building.
Yeah, but you get three lawyers, you get three opinions.
All right, but then who do we go with? If the school says one thing and ours says the other, then what do you do?
And then we're still right back to, this is talking about not utilizing any other funds. So if we happen to get lucky and get other funds, that voids those funds.
No, it doesn't void the funds. It's talking right now that we don't have any other funds. With the senior center building, we had other funds coming in. It doesn't void what you're doing.
I think he means currently does not utilize other.
There's
funds.
currently no other
That's
funds.
what I think it is.
All right, for the sake of St. Patrick's Day tomorrow, and I don't want to be here then. I'll make a motion, that we, put Wes Greenleaf in as clerk of the works, starting on Monday. Should we put the salary in there or, but with the stipulation, we get his billing information and his credentials before our next meeting. And so we know where we're in, and it's not to exceed $7,500,
For how long?
whatever.
Indefinitely.
Till completion of project.
I'll second that for the point of discussion.
I already discussed it. We're going.
Well, I want to discuss real quick. So that again. If this becomes a town, school project, then that,
Well, they already
This is
agreed
all-
they're using the same guy, so it's gonna.
right, but,
move over.
okay, that's fair, I guess, but
But if we sign a contract with them,
Well, they just have to
Then
redo
we're
that.
they'll have to redo it.
We're out anyway, so at that point, we're done.
That's true, that's true. Okay,
But in the future meetings, I'm not gonna be as easy as pushing forward as without information. I'm telling you straight up.
Oh, you've been easy so far? Is that what this?
Well, I'm not gonna start I'm doing it for the good of the team
I hear
to
you.
start Monday, but I'm very uncomfortable with that. I'm very uncomfortable not having credentials. I'm very uncomfortable not having a signed contract. I'm very uncomfortable not knowing if it's a Board of Ed or town meeting. I'm very
Mhm.
uncomfortable with everything.
me too.
So in the future,
Okay.
I'm not gonna be as nice as I was tonight,
Mhm.
just so you know.
Thanks for the warning.
Well, we're lucky.
I
it's
can't-
St.
no.
Patty's Day
I know,
tomorrow.
right?
Wait till I get down the wetlands downstairs, see how I'm gonna be all riled up.
All right, so we have a motion, we have a second. Go ahead, discussion.
If I apologize, if we get the contract tomorrow, I'm texting Andrew Dijak as we speak, we will send it out to the committee.
Okay,
Yeah,
perfect.
you have my word.
Okay,
But you should have it because you signed it.
Neither one of us have it. I don't know why it was not returned, but I don't
Is it a
have it.
different contract from when you signed?
No, no,
It should be the same. It was-
Right.
Why,
you
but why
signed
don't
it
you have a
and then-
copy of it?
If they didn't
I-
send it
they
back,
didn't send it back.
so they signed it and just didn't
I wouldn't.
send it. All right, any more discussion on that? Everyone?
Oh, you have to.
Oh,
I think
We
I
got a
can vote.
motion, we have a second, we did discussion.
mhm,
All in favor?
I,
Opposed? Okay. Okay. All right. Care of that. We don't have any old business. Any other business that may properly come before the committee?
Happy St. Patrick's Day. everybody.
mhm.
And public forum.
Oh, you wanted to say something?
Yeah.
I gotta get going if I miss. I'll be
Oh,
short,
yeah,
sweet.
me too.
Earlier. Yep. okay.
So based on this conversation and what I'm hearing as a taxpayer, I'm concerned about the impact this is gonna slow down the project, for one thing. The other thing is that we have a town building committee for the senior center.
We did.
We did,
Yeah, we
yep,
did.
absolutely. And the bills still haven't
So
been paid.
did we have a town building committee for the gas line project?
No,
No, that was the
It was connected to a
That was a-
building,
that
that
was-
was school,
school committee.
So that was a utility going into a building.
right?
I'll have it on the phone.
So we're doing a lighting project upgrade for the field, which is also a utility. Correct?
But that's not the
From the
entirety
building.
of the project.
There was
That's a
conversion
portion
of the
it.
boilers and stuff inside the building too.
So I'll just tell you this, if this holds up the field and it's gonna cost the taxpayers more money, that's gonna be a problem.
Mhm.
Well, I think we've been very responsible. We didn't hold anything up yet, but that's all I can
I
tell
don't
you.
have a warrant fuzzy on
Mhm.
it. Okay?
That's not up to me though.
And the person you picked as the clerk of the works, is the exact same person that the Board of Ed, when I was there at the meeting, talked about picking
Well, that's what we said.
over a month ago. So my opinion on this whole thing, before I get up and go, is I think this whole thing is redundant of what's already been happening. And I just don't want to muddy the waters for the kids, like Sean was talking about. But thanks for listening to me for a couple minutes. And
I think Eric,
Thanks, Wayne.
have a good night.
Yep.
You too.
Good night.
yeah,
Eric Christensen, 13 Danica Way. I just want to follow up on what Sean said. When we started the process in December, there was an urgency to expedite the process to lock in the price before January 31st. So when talking to Sean, I had talked to the bond attorney to talk about the process and try and set out a timeline. And he had asked me about the school building committee, and I said, if it does, it's gonna lengthen the process because we have to have 2 public hearings. So he agreed that, yeah, we're better off not going through that process because we need to get the referendum done before the end of January or around there. So my feeling is if you're now gonna make it a school building committee project, 2 public hearings weren't done. The project wasn't approved by the State Department of Education, which is required under our ordinance before going to town meeting as well. If that's the case, and it's a school building project, I think that there's danger of that town meeting and referendum being invalid. And that's my concern.
And we know how close the vote was.
That's a legitimate concern. I didn't realize it during this meeting, so. Yeah, well, that's,
Because if you read the ordinances, it states right in there for the school building projects, 2 public hearings before town meeting and approval by the State Department of Education before town meeting. And neither of those were done.
well, that's something we need to all think of. I mean,
And if it's this committee, then those are not required?
No,
Okay.
and that's why we didn't go through the building committee.
Here's the bottom line, I mean, at the end of the day, whatever these. Whatever, as far as I can see, whatever the, Board of Ed's attorney says is irrelevant, because we have an opinion here that contradicts it possibly, so it's up to us to make the decision.
Not upset.
I don't think,
Why not?
I don't wanna be
Well, then
making
who's-
legal decisions.
Well, we're not making, well, then whose decision is it then at that point?
I don't know, that would be up for the lawyers, I guess, to battle out. I don't know. I don't know. I mean, there's the statute.
Why don't we give it, why don't we have a meeting in the middle of next week sometime?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, and hopefully, the superintendent and then the first selectman and everybody can work it all out, get us contracts, get us a starting point. So we're only 2 or 3 days in, because everybody said the week of, so it's supposed to be shitty in the beginning of the week with snow and rain, so nobody's gonna be there, get any work done, and Tuesday, Wednesday is, we can sit down and everybody happy, and whatever the Board of Ed's concerns is, if this committee stays in place, we'll happily respect everything they do. And if it goes the other direction, I'll happily, whatever information I have, I'll go the other direction. But I think
I
we need
agree.
to have a unified front before we start rolling into
Mhm.
a project, in my opinion.
Totally agreed, yeah. Totally agree.
All right,
I
so
make a motion to adjourn. We
No,
can't
well,
talk about
well,
anything
no,
else.
Starting a
No,
meeting.
that,
hold on.
because we don't have a meeting yet.
So I agree we need to have another meeting next week. What do you need to get the opinion, the legal opinion from your attorneys?
The superintendent's dealing with him.
Yeah.
Deals
Is there any-
directly with-
So do they need any other information or, okay, all right. So do you think you would have some sort of response from them by, okay,
Realistically, Tuesday, Wednesday next week, probably by the time you.
I'm hoping.
okay.
But
Do you
the
have to
Board
bring
of
it to the
Ed still
board,
won't
though?
have a meeting. Right, the Board of Ed. still
They can have a
won't
special meeting, she can handle it.
it.
The thing is, just because we get an opinion doesn't mean we just immediately disband the board.
No, no, no,
No, okay.
no. No, we would have to meet and.
I just like a common front. That's.
I would too.
Yeah.
The Marty.
Ready?
Listening, I mean, to the discussion and kind of knowing what's going on, my concern is kind of like what Eric says. One attorney might say this, the other attorney might say that. That could get drawn out for a year.
Right,
Oh,
Right.
yeah, well, absolutely.
I mean, the project needs to get moving, so we need to come to an agreement on how we're gonna do that. We're gonna form a committee or we're gonna go the other way. Let's decide it and let's go that way.
Mhm. What's the downside of having the school building committee do this?
Well,
Like,
we
why-
have
why
we have
not?
a contract
Meeting,
that's
other than
Why
that,
out.
not do it? What's that?
we have to redo the contract, number one. Number two, I think we might have legal issues that Eric brought up. We might have legal issues. And there's you know. What's the downside of us doing that? What is the downside of this committee doing it? That's kind of my question at this point.
Yeah, I was just looking at. it.
Well, I
They've
kind of,
already-
when I got the
they've
letter
already been working
for
on it.
zoning, I kind of thought it was, I didn't know it was in the middle of something, I kind of figured that out really quickly after that.
you did.
But I just want to know where we're going, what we're doing. I don't want to waste your guys' time. I don't want to waste your time. I don't want to waste my time. And I really want to get this thing done and built, and
Yep.
I'm really good at that and I can do it, but I just need to know where I'm going. That's all.
So let's play for a meeting for next week. Days, times, what works for people.
Well, unless
So
the
we
Board of
need
Ed has a
people
meeting prior to us having a meeting, it's not irrelevant to have a meeting, because everything's gonna be open again.
Would you be able to say?
That's
that?
my
I
opinion.
talked it
That's
over with
totally
the
my opinion.
superintendent and told the board as to when they're available. It will not be Tuesday. Because there's Board of Selectmen meeting and Board of Finance meeting
Yeah.
on Tuesday.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Thursday, I possibly have meetings later in the day. I have to pull my board, make
Mhm.
sure I have a quorum.
Is this an unrealistic approach I'm taking, or no, or no?
I agree with you. Oh,
So, I mean, at this point, nothing's gonna be held up, right? If we
But
have the
who-
executed contract,
Yeah,
it
except
work
who's
can
in-
still go.
but
Right,
we're in some serious gray area because now they're working on a contract that's potentially gonna be voided here in any day. Right? That's the problem,
But-
yeah,
I mean, but if we have an executed contract, that's what you work with
Right.
I guess.
until it's not.
So then what if it gets voided, then who
Yeah, but
pays
can
for
you
that?
even now, as since.
Then who
there's a
pays for that
resolution in
amount
here
of
that
work
says anything
or-
about Voiding the
Well, we haven't seen an extra contract yet, so let's, but when we see it, we'll do it.
But I think like Eric brought up, that's a big issue, because if it ends up going to the school building committee, then we have to really go back out to referendum,
According to our ordinances, yeah.
right? And it probably won't pass.
Right.
So
After hearing all this, my opinion is we need to move forward with this.
I
with
think
this,
I
Well, I think the Board of Ed
I
has
need to-
to
we just-
get behind this board, put in a member on. You have an at-large member and put another member on, and let's just move forward. That's-
Yeah, I'm ready to move
Well,
forward.
unless you wanna-
Here's the bottom
unless
line.
they wanna-
I'll straight up say, I think we need to move forward this committee after hearing everything. We have a legal opinion. I hate the animosity and fighting, but I don't want to lose the project over this either, so.
Mhm.
We have a legal opinion, we have everything we need, we have a contract.
We don't have a contract.
Okay, well, we supposedly have a contract that we'll see hopefully this week. Once we see that contract, it's full steam ahead.
Yeah.
I
I just
think.
want to be sure everything's done properly. That's all. That's my
agree.
biggest thing. I
I
just want to
agree.
be sure it's done right. And
I think we're have a little cart before the horse,
Mhm.
but I think if we can get it resolved to the Board of Ed, to a selectman, and just keep moving within a week or so, I think it'd be fine. That's my opinion.
We have a clerk of the works.
yeah,
are we on
so-
a whack here on this stuff?
no, we were still talking about public forum and then that was based, that was based on some of the public forum. So would you be able to work on getting a special meeting first, your board, based on whatever response you get from the attorney?
I can, it wouldn't be Monday,
Okay, I mean, it'd be whenever,
because I
I
won't
guess,
have
whenever
the
you.
opinion until probably sometime tomorrow, and then I've got to.
Yeah.
Meet with the superintendent, and go over it, and then go up to the board, so it wouldn't be Monday,
Yeah.
Tuesday's out. Soonest is Wednesday, but again, I don't know
We can
if I
get
have a
it tomorrow,
forum.
Right,
Yeah, no,
I
I-
don't know.
so maybe do
Maybe Thursday.
Thursday-ish tentatively, and if they don't get a quorum, then we'll do it the following Monday or something. It's still not gonna be a lot to get done that quickly.
okay,
So maybe, maybe, can we put a date on it with a secondary date, Dana, like a Thursday, and if not Thursday, the following Monday or
for the
something?
Board of Ed or for our?
For our mission,
For our special
because it's based off, it's,
Yeah,
you got 2 dates based off of when they can meet, and we'll do it
Mhm.
as post their meeting.
Yep. Um. Yeah, that would be Thursday, yep, Thursday, the 23rd.
Is that any holidays?
I mean, you can make any day a holiday.
Just checking.
It's like 5 o'clock somewhere, right?
Yep.
So, yeah, so Thursday, the 23rd. 6 PM. Tentatively. And then, want to have a backup date?
Probably the Monday, or
Right,
Tuesday. the
Yeah, I
following
was just looking, are there any other town meetings on the 27th?
Oh, I was gonna say, you're, it's the 20.
Do you guys know of any?
Yes,
I
no.
don't know. Don't know.
So the worst scenario is they have everybody have a meeting Monday anyway, the following Monday,
There's
so.
not
I
anything
have
in
one-
that.
Well, we're
Uh,
scheduled one to have on the
Board of Ed.
27th, but I'm going on vacation.
Oh,
Not
okay.
sure if we have enough anyways to make a meeting. I
Okay.
don't have to know if we have enough items to call a meeting on the
Okay.
27th. And I'm gonna be out of town for a week.
Okay,
All right, so do we want to plan for the 27th? It doesn't seem like there's any other town meetings scheduled for that night right now,
I won't be here.
so.
Unless we did it at 5.
what are you leaving Sunday,
They have
Saturday?
something
Saturday?
on the
Sunday to
27th.
Saturday.
Yeah, she said she wasn't sure they were gonna have it.
Yeah, but I don't know if we want to schedule a meeting if we do have it,
We could do,
unless we
You do
did it at
Saturday
5,
morning.
yeah,
that's
yeah,
what I'm
yeah,
saying,
What-
yeah.
yeah, your meeting's at 6, because this one
If
is
they
at
have
5,
a-
so it's
We
gonna be
had to move
6.
it to a special meeting because we had board members who wanted to go watch the boys
Oh, gotcha, okay,
basketball game
okay, all right,
at the high school.
so we could tentatively put it for the 27th
Mhm.
as a backup.
That's a
Just know
backup?
I won't-
Backup,
I won't
backup.
be
She
there.
can't be there, so would
Still
anybody have a
enough
problem
of
with
us.
Saturday morning or something like that?
No, I'm in for that.
Before you want to go on vacation? I'll ruin your
What
vacation.
time, because I've already scheduled open houses
Oh, like early then?
Is everyone okay with it? I'm good with a Saturday.
good
Is
with it.
everyone else good with a Saturday?
It's up to, what, we're just trying to fit you in, because I don't wanna
Or
have a meeting
Friday.
without you here.
Or Friday
Don't
night.
ever worry about me.
What's the day?
I always worry about you.
No,
Friday night, what?
Friday,
No, wait, no.
We can't, we
Friday.
Friday night, we've got it.
Guys on.
Friday night.
Right,
Hey, I care about the town deeply. I'll,
Listen, you're not available Friday.
you
night.
already have an
well, not
appointment.
this Friday.
You're-
night, sorry,
the
sorry.
24th.
Next Friday.
I apologize.
24th, you are already committed,
You're right.
something else.
Apologize.
I'm going bowling that
Um,
night,
Yeah, me too.
down at,
Me and you.
so do we want to say the 20, Saturday, 25th? Is everyone will? is that
That's a
okay?
tentative backup plan.
That would
Early.
be-
8 o'clock, is 8 o'clock? 8 o'clock?
yeah, I'm not starting open houses for a couple
All
hours.
right, 8 o'clock. On Saturday morning.
Before I leave,
All right,
make everybody happy.
so
bring the
Saturday,
coffee.
3:25, 8 AM here
As a backup to the.
as a
29th.
backup to the 23rd.
You're gonna send us an email on all this stuff, right?
No, we're hoping you're writing it down.
No, I'm not.
All right, bangs on.
All right.
Thanks, Zoom. We're out.
Okay, so motion to, well, any other discussion, any other public forum?
8 AM.
Motion to adjourn?
I'll
I make a motion.
I'll make the motion.
Second.
All right. Thanks, everybody.
All in favor, all in favor?
All in favor?
Aye.
Sorry.
No worries.
Thanks, guys.